Whoever, okay, cool, we're recording. All right, guys, welcome to our Diamonds and Above Zoom. We have some incredible questions for this Zoom. I'm just right in the process of pulling them up. Let's see. And then we will go from there. We have so many awesome ambassadors on here that have so many good tips. And it's really funny because a lot of the questions that you guys asked were asked with different verbiages multiple times. So it's funny that you guys all kind of have some of the same questions. So I kind of categorized the questions, and we're just going to kind of go through and try to hit as many as possible. We have over 30 questions. So this is going to be really good. Make sure you're taking notes because this is going to fill your cup. The first question that we have is from a diamond. It says, what is your opinion on stacking distributors? Is it a good idea to stack a distributor under a non-working distributor? For example, if you are a diamond going for double diamond to ensure that you maintain diamond.
Okay, I said I would take this one. I didn't know this is the first one. And I just got attacked by a mosquito. So if you see me like it bit me on my nose. Okay, anyway. Sorry, guys. Okay. So funny story. I did not understand stacking at all. I'm Susan Wade, by the way. You'll know who I am. Back in the day, like prior to going ambassador, when I heard the word stacking, I thought stacking was like getting out your chart and literally just putting your distributors anywhere, like stacking them. Like, I don't know. That's what I was always told stacking meant. And so whenever my team would be like, hey, are you a fan of stacking? I'd be like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And so I finally figured out what stacking was after I went ambassador, which is unfortunate because I feel like it could have, I think I got it. No, got it. Sorry. I had to get that mosquito, y'all. So after I went ambassador, I started figuring out what stacking was, and it's brilliant, honestly. This is how I define stacking is I take a distributor who is not currently recruiting, like they're not really working the business, but let's say they have like 200 in volume, okay? And you're needing them to be 400. Originally, I just was like, okay, this person's quit. I'm just going to I'm just going to sign up a new distributor and get them to 400. But stacking is where you actually take that brand new distributor and you're going to sign them under the non-active distributor, and that volume combines to make 400 because that 200 volume that the previous distributor had is going to combine with the new distributor's volume. So if you're like going for a promotion, sorry, I have kids at the door. Mom life. So if you're going for a promotion and you see, okay, I have to go double diamond this month, but I have like all this volume just kind of spread out. You need to be strategic with it. And, the question I get asked a lot is, well, isn't that kind of benefiting the person that's not really working? Like, can't they, like, will they start to use you, or, they're going to start making a paycheck? What if they turn their auto ship back on because they see that they're making a paycheck? And I will tell you 99% of the time, whenever I've stacked a distributor, they are so inactive that they haven't even logged into eSuite to even realize that a distributor is under them. So what I do now, this is on my 2.0, I've done this, especially to maintain certain diamonds, is I will just take those boxes where there's loyal customers still ordering, and I will place new distributors under them. It combines, makes a 400 leg, and then they're good to go. And you can teach your team to do this too. I made a training video on stacking. Someone that's trying to go Ruby, they get very frustrated, right? Because they're like, okay, I'm blocked in, but I've got this person at 100 BV and I've got this person at like 250. They've both quit. Do I keep placing on my top line? Like, what do I do? And so I tell them, no, like, don't waste that volume, stack. So I'm all for stacking, Ashley, but only if they have volume. Like, if you have someone that's quit and has 0 BV, there's no reason to stack them. Okay. And again, you're not stacking for promotion spots. Like, I'm not telling you guys to build duds. Okay. I'm talking about 400 boxes. So looking at like a chart, 400 boxes, those are the ones I stack. And another thing to look at is auto ships. If you have someone that isn't bringing in a little customer, but they run an auto ship every month, honestly, if it meant me going double diamond, I don't care if it's a level below. I'm going to stack a new distributor. That 80 BV or more, I mean, that 80 BV, you guys know this when you promote, that $80, that counts. Like, any volume is worth something, right? That you don't have to like move an order or get little customers. So that's stacking. I totally am for it. If you're confused by it, I'm going to actually upload the video that I did for my team, and it kind of goes over stacking a little bit, so I can help you all out.
Hey, Susan, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you only do this, though, once you're boxed for that promotion, and then when you're trying to fill volume?
Yeah. I usually, I don't really start doing this until after I'm blocked in, or let's say I have someone, they're getting discouraged because they finally, like, maybe they're one person away from Ruby, but like 2 people have already quit.
All right, Tom.
I usually tell them, their new distributors, go ahead and get blocked in first, then worry about stacking. I don't start stacking until you're blocked in. How much volume do you want to see stack on a 400 box? I mean, honestly, like, I usually like to just stack 2 people together, because if that new distributor is going after their 4 loyal customers, those 4 loyals plus a little bit of volume should combine and make a 400. Like, I've never really done like where I've stacked like 5 people together, but I know some people that are really strong recruiters that they've done it this way and they were able to get to their promotion faster. My whole thing is, don't waste volume. If you have volume on your chart, you might as well use it. Get to the promotion that you need. So this person asked about double diamond, get to double diamond. And then you can kind of look at your chart and say, am I going to continue building this ruby or this emerald and this diamond? Or am I going to maybe like start on my 3rd leg for triple and watch what this leg can do? So you're starting over here. So stacking, again, is kind of like a last minute resort type thing. And again, if you've never stacked, it's okay, because I went Ambassador Diamond without even knowing what this was. So if y'all have any questions, y'all can privately message me about it. Because again, I was one of those that had no idea what it was until like maybe last year. So
I think you answered that perfectly. I don't think anyone needs to piggyback on that one. So the next question we have, and this is also kind of a charting question, but I think it's a good one to touch base on. This is from a double. How do you place on your chart when you've been in the business a while and things are kind of messy? I have pockets of performers, but I find it hard to know where to focus to promote. So I'll just kind of add my little 2 cents on this. One thing, I got this from Jade Hooper. She suggests you take out a plain piece of notebook paper and you chart out absolutely everybody on your team. It's typically better if you do this toward the end of the month so you can see the volume. If not, it would be hard to kind of calculate that beforehand. But then again, it's halfway through the month, so you can kind of see a little bit of what that volume could be. Maybe it's half of what it could be right now. You can chart that out and chart out absolutely everyone that you have on your chart. And then from there, you'll be able to tell, like, okay, this person's charted for Ruby, this person over here is charted for Emerald. I can work with those people. And so once you have that out in front of you, you can kind of look and see what your options are. And I think one of the coolest things is you, as a business owner, get to pick and choose who you want to work with. And so don't be afraid at one point. Like when I went ambassador, I had a girl that was charted diamond, and the girl underneath her was also charted. No, they were both charted for double, but this one was further away. So I worked with this one, even though she wasn't personally enrolled. And that's how I got to ambassador, was working with somebody below her. So don't be afraid at any time to look through your charts and see what you have, because you might have somebody that's closer to Ruby than the person above them, if that's what you need. So I think charting it out and seeing what you have on your team available has been super, super helpful. I don't know if anyone else wants to piggyback on that.
So something that I've been doing and been teaching my leaders to do is that I use TreeViewer like crazy. So even on the first of the month, like I will ask people in a group chat, or if it's on your team page, or if you have a group chat, I highly recommend having a group chat as like a diamond double. Like have a group chat with your active distributors who are working and say like, hey, I'm charting people today. Who wants me to chart them? And I will pull together, like a lot of times I'll take like a diamond chart, and in your diamond chart, you're going to have 3 rubies and the emerald. And so I'll go through TreeViewer, put everybody in the diamond chart on paper, and then start with the diamond, look at all her top line boxes, add up. It takes a while, guys, but it's so worth it. Add up all the auto shipments and everything that are predicted to run. Now, granted, it may decline, it may they may change their order, they may shut their order off, you don't know, but it gives you an idea. So like one of my girls that went diamond 2 months ago, we pulled all of her stuff, and she was like 4,100 BV away from going diamond. And so this sounds really crazy, but I told her, you're 37 systems away from going diamond. And so where she had never pushed the system before, she started pushing the system because she was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to try to sell 37 systems, but I'm also going to teach my team to sell systems. But find out who's working in your chart. Go into the depths. Figure out who's got the volume and start working. Stop, I think a lot of times if you're saying that your chart's messy, it's probably because some people have quit and you're just kind of flustered and kind of floundering and don't know where to go, because it is hard to figure out to just get the wheels moving again, because that's what it truly takes. You can sit and flounder, but you're not going to get anywhere. And so pull out the charts and go into TreeViewer and pull those numbers and start getting excited and working with those people, and send them a picture of their chart and talk to them like a game plan on what to do. And I think that that's going to change everything for you.
Okay, I think that answered that question pretty well. Okay, this next one, I have something to say about this one, but from a double diamond, how do you decide where to move new loyal customer orders to? So I've always just kind of done this system. Number 1, fast start bonuses. And then depending on if you are working on promoting that month, my number 2 is placing to promote where I need that volume. And if you're not promoting that month, then I immediately go to place my loyal customers for caps. So you all have the opportunity, if you're on this Zoom, to be earning $80 and above on these cab bonuses. So even if you're not getting a fast start, you're guaranteeing yourself an $80 raise. So first fast start, then either placing to promote or cabs, depending on what you're working towards. I don't know if anyone else has anything to say about that. I think we all usually do that because that's where the...
Jocelyn, do you want to tell, because we may have some diamonds on here that have never looked at a cab report. Are we going to talk about that, or do you want to because I know Ashley just wrote about leadership qualification by period. That's a report that we use, you guys, to look at cabs.
Yeah, hold on just a second. I can share my screen on here, right?
Yeah. Here, let me make you do I have you as a host? If not, I'll add you. While I'm doing that, something else that I would say, if I don't have a cab or a fast start bonus, if everybody's covered for maybe they still have 25 days, then sometimes I will auction off my loyal customers too. This person, I'll put 3 people who maybe are newer distributors in a chat and say hey girls, I've got a brand new loyal customer. If whoever gets a loyal customer by 5 o'clock tonight gets my loyal customer, and I'll auction them off too. So you should be able to share your screen now, Jocelyn.
Okay, so I click share screen. I think it works. Is it showing my A-Suite or is it showing my other screen?
You're good.
Okay, so
you're froze.
Jocelyn, are you there?
One second, guys. I'll get the other questions that were posted while she's unfreezing. Hold on.
Perfect.
How long was I frozen for?
Oh, you're unfrozen now.
Oh, did you guys even hear what
We
I
saw
said?
your no, we saw your screen for just a second, and then it was frozen.
Okay, maybe I'll just talk about it first. So the Fast Start qualification, I sort it by the enrollment date, and that shows me where I can place loyals for quick Fast Start bonuses. And then the other report is the leadership level qualification by period. Is that the one you guys use?
Yeah.
Okay, let me pull it up first, and then I'll share screen. And then hopefully it doesn't freeze on me again. All right, so then this one, the same thing. I just sort it by the enrollment date, and then it shows me these people that I could be cabbing off of. So this girl, well, I signed her up, obviously, but it shows that I earned a cab off of her, and then it shows me, these are too late, but I'm just kidding, they're not. So I could place a loyal customer underneath this girl named Madison and earn a Fast Start bonus. So use this to your advantage, and you can kind of track these through the dates. So every once in a while, maybe once in a week, I'll go through this and I'll track my cabs that way. And one thing you can do with these, because this is $80 and above, you know, this is a lot of money. You can send these people a message, that the enrollers, and say, hey, I just want to let you know that if you get another loyal customer underneath your new distributor, you're going to earn a $100 bonus, and I would hate for you to miss this money that's on the table for you. Or one thing that I've done too is I've actually messaged these new distributors on Facebook. I just kind of find them through our group page, and I'll just message them and say, hey, I'm super excited that you just started. I don't want you to miss out on this $100 in free products, or I don't want you to not be qualified for our bonuses. So I wanted to send you 2 sample posts that you can use to help get your customers, something like that. So doing something so simple like that probably takes you less than 10 minutes, and it can increase your paycheck exponentially. Okay, the next question is from a diamond. I hit diamond last year in March and then dropped to ruby in August and have been paid as a ruby since then. When I went diamond, I quit my full-time job and have been a stay-at-home mom for a year, but just this month decided to get a new part-time job. I feel like a failure and a liar because I'm not telling people I got a job, but I'm not quitting this business. What suggestions do you have for me?
Okay, I have something for that. Okay, because I remember going diamond, and I think I actually lost diamond in, was it November, after I had gone diamond in like the beginning of the year, and I lost diamond at the end. And I think, you know, you can look at your check and just be like, well, I'm glad that you're not quitting, because, you know, you can either look at it and say, well, I'm going to quit, like I'm done. Or you can say, well, I'm going to do something about it. And so, man, you guys, I'm out of breath. I'm pregnant. Okay, so my point is that I think it's really inspiring that, you know, Mark paid people's commissions off of flipping houses when they were getting this business started. Like the first 6 years, they didn't take an income from at work. So it's okay that you got a full or a part-time job. That's totally fine. I would own it. I would just be like, you know what? I have so much time now that I can have a part-time job, and I'm just, you know, meeting new people. Like, and I think that you just like, you might have quit your job too early, and it's okay. That's okay. Just like, I think you just need to own it and then decide what you're going to do with it. You know what I mean? Because like, I just remember, you know, Mark and Pam, and all, they always tell us, like, you know what, sometimes you have to get a job. I know that multiple people in our company who have been at the top have had to have a job while doing this business to work up your residual income, and then you won't have to work. You know what I mean? But some people do quit too early, and that's okay. But just know that, like, just keep going, you know, because you just never, something to add to that, because I'm like,
something that I remember Pam saying one time, and I think that at points you can get, especially if you lose rank, you can feel kind of defeated. And one thing that Pam said, you know, sometimes it becomes hard to dream when you get in situations like that, because you're so trapped in the like, what happened to kind of like trip you up. But she said, so it may not necessarily be a dream board that you need to make, but a what you don't want board. And the things that like you probably don't want that part-time job, but it's part of, it's part of life. It happened, and you've got to roll with that. But start making a list of the things you don't want, and that might inspire you even more. But I agree. I would just own. Cami told us not that long ago, we just did a Zoom with Cami 2 weekends ago at my diamond retreat. And she said, sometimes people do have to get a job, and that's okay. Don't just, like Carrie said, I would just run with it and own it and look at it as an opportunity to meet more people.
And I want to add something. Can you hear me, Ashley?
Yeah,
my daughter is going to kindergarten next year, and I seriously, like, if you work this business the way that you're supposed to work it, you do only need a couple hours of intentional work, and then you always work it in between everything else. But I seriously looked at my husband, and I've always maintained Ambassador, so I don't need a part-time job. But I looked at him just last week and said, I need to find like a volunteer job or a part-time job just to expand my network. I moved a year and a half ago, and I have yet to grow a local team. So please think of it as a way that you're going to meet new people, you're going to grow your network, and it's going to be a very big plus for your business.
I have something I want to add to you really fast. Excuse my appearance. I look like a man right now, a single mom while Chris is fishing. But I think when things are, we think they're falling apart, and I think that it gets hard to realize that we can start over. We're looking at everything that fell apart, and we're dwelling on those people who may have quit, the people that dropped out, those people that got you where you were in the first place. And so my best advice, just as far as the chart aspect, would be to completely start over. Look at your chart, see who's working, but start with a fresh new chart, because fresh blood is always the easiest to run, or I think it's always the easiest to run with. So that's my advice for that.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next question. From a diamond as well. What's your best advice to someone who is not a mass enroller and struggling to regain her diamond rank? She has nobody on her team working, maybe one at most. She's a lifer, but at times she can't help but question herself.
Okay, I'll jump in on this one. So, you guys, this was me 4 years ago. Like I struggled. I built myself to diamond, and I found maybe one worker, and I would call her a partial worker. But I literally built myself to diamond, and then I got stuck, and the people that I had signed fell off, and it took me 8 months, you guys, to rebuild my chart. I rebuilt that chart, and I signed virtually 95% of my double diamond chart all by myself because I wasn't giving up, and I was just determined to do it, and I kept signing. You have to keep bringing in, like Amanda just said, you have to keep bringing in that fresh blood, you guys. You have to. It's easier to give birth than to revive the dead, and that's so true. So keep signing, people. And, you hear all the time that the team that takes you diamond won't be the team that takes you double, won't be the team that takes you triple. And that might not always be true, but I can tell you, the team that took me double, there's one person in this business today, and it's my husband who doesn't work the business. One person, you guys, off of that entire double diamond chart. One, and it's my husband. Every other person has quit. So you just have to keep finding that new blood and work with the workers. You can't force people to want this business. I tried that for so long, and it's exhausting, and it will drag you down, and it will just, like, I mean, I don't know if you guys, a lot of you probably don't know my story, but you guys, I was so ready to quit. And because I was struggling to get that, to that double diamond rank, and I was comparing, and I was struggling with people giving up and quitting. And it was a vicious cycle. And once I got over that, and I got over myself, and I got out of my own way, you guys, I pushed through and went double diamond 12 days after I decided that I was going to do it. I decided. I didn't wait for my team to do it, you guys. I decided to do it, and I made it happen. And then I signed Mackenzie Schultz 2 days after I went double. Do not quit. Do not give up just because you're struggling to go from that diamond to double jump or triple to presidential, whatever that hurdle is that you're facing. Keep pushing through and keep signing people, because it takes one person to change your business. And I guarantee you they're out there. So that's my input on that.
I want to jump in. Jamie, that was awesome. I love that advice. But I'm a huge person about perspective, right? So I don't think anyone needs to be a mass enroller, but they need to be doing the steps to success. So instead of saying, oh, I have this only one person working on my team, it should be, I have 3 new people that I'm training this month on my team to go back to Diamond. So I think everyone needs to really keep that in mind. If you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, there's always someone growing on your team. It's never down to just one or everyone quitting, because you're constantly replacing them. Even if it's only 3 distributors, that's all you need. You know, you don't need to be a mass enroller. And I think there was a thread on the Ambassador Club once that the majority of us are not mass enrollers. There's a few that are, but the majority just do the steps to success, or maybe a little bit more. So.
And I will just add to that. I hope those that are watching this, I hope you heard what she just said. You know, steps to success. I think so many of us follow VIP leaders, and you just have this idea that we're all signing 30 to 40 people a month, and that's just not the case. And that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing for these people, but you guys are worthy. If you are signing your 3 people every month, you're doing what Mark, Pam, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So I really just hope you hear what she said. Most of us, I would say 90% of the ambassadors, they sign between maybe 3 and 8 distributors a month. Okay, so you guys can do this.
Okay, these next couple questions, I feel like they all kind of blend together. So there's 4 of them. And Roan, please mute your phone. I am going to kind of read all 4 of these questions and go from there, just so we can kind of piggyback on all of them, because they all are so similar. So the first one's from a double. What's your best tip for summer vacation and time management with having kids home every day? Second one from a diamond. How do you manage time to work your business, take care of your team, and take care of your family? Next one from a diamond. Do y'all set aside office hours so you can work your own business? Lately, I feel like I work and help my team more than my own. And then the last question from a diamond. What are some strategies to keep focused during the summer months and still working a full-time job? So lots of time management through summer, working with kids, working in a full-time job. So have at it.
Okay, I'll start. So I know for me, I have 4 kids, and 2 of them are in school and 2 of them are still home. So guess what? Summer vacation is not different. I mean, I have 2 at home full-time anyway. So I think we need to just get over that mindset. Yes, we just have to, if you only have kids in school, then you're not used to being, being home all day. So you do have to just get used to, all right, maybe I know for me, I don't have work hours. I feel like I work all day, but it's because I spread it all throughout the day. And so when I first wake up, maybe I'll take a few minutes for some personal development, because I can't pour out unless I'm being filled up, right? And then I'll spend some time messaging people. Maybe I'm replying to people because the night before I messaged, and now I'm replying. So I'll take a few minutes for that. Maybe then we'll go make breakfast. We'll have some fun time. And then, they're all settled and they're quiet for a few minutes, or they're playing outside. So then guess what? I'm working again. And so now I'm setting up my posts. Maybe I'm messaging a few more people, things like that. So I think you just have to be really intentional to not let the day get away from you. I needed a task list for myself, just because I do get, I have 4 boys, right? It's busy and wild at my house. So I do have a task list for myself, just because I can kind of, okay, I did that. Okay, I know I did my income producing activities today, so I'm good. And at night, if I have time to do even more, guess what? I will. But I think it's just so important to realize that just because it's summer doesn't mean that things have to change. Like, actually, you can take fun pictures with your kids now and be like, I get to be home with my babies. And you know what I mean? Like, you get to take even more fun pictures of the adventures that you're going on and the freedom that It Works allows you to. You know, when I started, I was broke, so we couldn't afford to go to the local water park. Well, guess what? We're going to be taking pictures of the local water park, and I'm going to be sharing about how I couldn't used to afford to go there. So you guys just use this time to share your adventure and just be intentional. You know, just if a task list helps you, do it, but just be intentional. I heard somebody, I think it was yesterday, talking about like if it helps you, the 5-minute increments even. Okay, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there. But as long as you're doing your income producing activities, that's perfect. So that's just what I wanted to say.
I wanted to share an idea that I just with my team. I have one of these things, it tracks time. This is like a half hour long. And so what you could do with kids, if you have something like this, or you can get one, I got this at like TJ Maxx for like $4. You can say, okay, when this empties and it goes all the way to the bottom, this is when I'm going to go play with you. And then during this time, your kids know, okay, she's working, I don't bug her. And when it runs out, then it's time for you to take that break and spend time with your kids. I think if you can find ways to integrate your kids into it, they're going to have so much more fun, and they're not going to mind that you take this time to work your business.
I was just
That's good. I've got something. Oh, both of us. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say, I do a 6 list every morning, and I've been doing that, I think, probably since my first month in the business. And it's really simple. It's just 6 things I need to do to, grow my business that morning, because what usually happens is most of us put our phones or our devices on our nightstand so that it's within reach. So like, even if you get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, you're checking your phone on your way back from the bathroom, because everybody does it. So I always put mine on Do Not Disturb. I wake up in the morning and I do 6 things that are on that list. It's a Post-it note that I keep on my nightstand, and it's only for me. So I'm not opening my inbox. I'm not opening my email. I'm not opening my direct messages, because then what happens is I feed into everyone else's agenda before I accomplish things that are actually bringing new blood and new life into my business. And then I get stressed out, and then I'm yelling at my kids when it's not maybe my kid's fault that I got distracted because Target's having, buy one, get one swimsuits, and I need 2 of them like right now. And that's something that I talk to my team a lot about too, is that it's not It Works. It's you. You have to take control over the things that you're doing that maybe aren't income producing. So, if that's a power hour and that's locking everybody out and hiding in your closet for an hour so that you can get things done, that's okay. A lot of the times I am home with my kids now because I'm with, It Works full time, but I get to spend more time with them and to see them and to volunteer and to do things with them than I ever was able to do with my full-time job. So I let go of that guilt. You're going to have guilt about something no matter what. No matter what you do, there's always going to be another opinion or another thing to it. So you have to let that go and just be intentional. So if it's the 6 list, if it's putting your phone on Do Not Disturb and getting those things accomplished, if it's hiding in your closet, hide in your closet. For me, when I was working full time, I got up literally, it was 27 minutes. I would set my alarm for 27 minutes earlier than when I had to get my family up to go to daycare and to school. And that was when I did stuff for my business. And then I stayed up late at night to do that too. But hold yourself accountable. Don't let your family members or yourself be frustrated with It Works because you feel like you're working all the time when a lot of your activity might not be directly related to bringing new blood into your business. Okay, Rachel, your turn.
That was great. And I agree that 6 list is awesome. I am a very not green person. So if you can relate to me, I would be very blue, and well, I guess I would consider myself purple, somewhere in between blue and red. But, so I just like to have fun, honestly. I like to have fun.
Okay, so tell Dan to come down and put water in the fridge, please.
Oh, I was like, what? Can you not hear me? So maybe make sure you mute yourself. Okay, so anyways, they were talking about fridge or something. You're unmuted though, just so FYI. anyway, so for me, I feel like with my kids, especially since they've been home, I have 3 children, okay, and they're all about to be elementary. My youngest is going into kindergarten, so they're all crazy. Like, they fight all the time, and then they're best friends, and then they make messes everywhere. They eat stuff and leave trash. They have pillow fights. It's like a disaster everywhere I go with my children inside of our house. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy already. But I have to just take time. I have to say, all right, quality over quantity. And I've always learned that, like, as a parent, that your quality time with your kids is more important than your quantity. And so even if you can give them little bits, and you just turn everything off and you say, okay, for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to have solid focus with my kids, then do that. And then be like, guys, go play, or like give them something to do. But I mean, in the morning and like midday and afternoon, they all get to take turns watching a show. So my daughter gets to pick, and then my son, and those are like 30 minutes of solid work time that I get. That's like an hour and a half that I get to like really focus. Like, I can do a power hour during those times. So I may spread it out. And then I can have quality time. If they're outside playing, and I can give them sidewalk chalk, bubbles, they can ride their bike, then I can work. And so, if you just can turn off your phone though for a half hour and spread that out from time to time, that quality time with your kids, like even if you guys go to the pool or whatever, that little bit of quality will mean more to them at the end of the night when you're tucking them in and singing songs or praying with them than, that so scattered time that you never gave. Like, you're not sure what you gave your time to. You're like, I didn't spend time with my kids. I didn't work my business. I don't even know what happened. You know what I mean? We all have those days. We're human. But if you can have a really solid focus day, I would say that quality is really, really important. And that will make all the difference in the world for your business and for your kids. And they will go to bed at night very happy. So that was what I wanted to throw in there.
And just remember, you guys, like, if y'all aren't working on yourself, like if you are not happy, then your business, like your posts are going to reflect that. Like, I make the best posts for my business, like for my opportunity posts, when I'm actually out with my kids and actually doing something. When I hermit and I hide in my room and I'm kind of just sitting here, like, I have no creativity. I have nothing that I can post. I'm not really happy at that moment. So don't forget to have fun. Don't forget to, I know someone on the thread, I know people watching the recording can't see this, but remember your spouse. Go on date nights. Take food pictures for your Instagram. Like, that's what people are still wanting to see. So if you're not working on yourself, if you're not happy, that's going to be reflective on social media for sure. So don't forget to take care of yourself.
Okay, so these next couple questions are all about different ways that we talk to people to bring them into the business. We get paid to sign up customers and distributors. The way we do that is by talking to people. So these next couple questions, some are about social media, some are about in person and growing locally. So we're just going to I'm going to ask the social media questions. We can kind of briefly go over, but I really want to focus a lot on, being in person and blitzing and things like that, just because I feel like social media, we have so much training available through YouTube videos that us ambassadors have already made. So the social media questions are all from Doubles. They ask, how do you grow your followers on Instagram? The next question is, what's the best social media platform for signing customers and distributors? And then the next question is, how do you reach out to people you don't know to make them a potential? How are distributors messaging 100 people a day? Where are the people their messaging come from? So ask somebody that has grown almost 100% from social media. Number one, treat others the way you want to be treated on social media. If you don't want somebody randomly messaging you that you don't know about a product or about a business that you're probably not interested, don't message people you don't know. I don't like it when people do it to me, so I'm not going to do it to them. What I do instead is I add people as friends and I just start to get to know them. Like I've been having a conversation with this girl from Arizona about how she's going on a family vacation to Universal Studios. And it's nothing about the business, but I'm getting to know her and I'm forming a relationship with her so that maybe, you know, in a week or two, I can ask her how the vacation went and then go from there and maybe see if she would be interested. She's going to be that much more of a stronger potential because she knows that I care about being her friend more than I care about just making a sale. And then as far as growing my followers on Instagram, the biggest thing that has helped me is the more people that you add and interact with, they're going to see, they're like, as an example, I see Susan on my screen right now, so I'm just going to use her as an example. If she added me on Instagram and she commented on a picture of Taylor and I and said, oh my gosh, Jocelyn, you two are such a cute couple, I would see that comment and be like, who is this Susan? I've got to see what her profile is. And then if I saw her post about like spending time with her husband, I'd be like, oh, I'm interested, and I would follow her or I'd send her a message. So that's literally all we do to grow our followers is we add people and then we interact with them so that they notice us. And then the social media platform, mine has always been 50-50 Facebook and Instagram. I think for you, it's going to depend on what you're best at. Some people are better at Facebook and some people are better at Instagram. So maybe try both for a while and see what works best for you. And maybe you're better offline. Does anyone want to add on the social media, or should we just move on to the next ones? Okay, moving on.
I'll add something. I mean, I'm not a big Instagram person. My team knows this. So I do Facebook a lot. And just to kind of piggyback off of what you said, I always, when I'm scrolling my Facebook, I try not to just get sucked in. Like I try to use my time wisely. And so I'm finding my potentials two ways. The first way is by scrolling and looking at advertisements for whether it's like a makeup post or maybe it's like a breastfeeding pillow. Like, okay, there's going to be moms commenting on this, like legit moms, people that are normal, you know what I mean? And so I become the recruiter. And I sit there and I go through the comments. I look at their profiles. I see, okay, is this someone that looks like they do really well with this business? And so then I add them. I make sure my profile does not look super It Works. I mean, you can tell I'm doing some type of business, but I do not have It Works plastered everywhere. So these people are accepting my friend requests. And what I do is I make a list. I make sure I have either their name written down. I make sure that I'm seeing their posts first. So I do see first. You can actually change it on Facebook. And like Jocelyn said, I'm interacting with them. I am not talking It Works. I'm not commenting like, hey, you should try a product. I'm literally just becoming their friend. And I'm not being fake. I want to also say that. Don't be fake. Be real with people. I mean, people can read you very well. I've been talking to a girl for like months, and she's going through trying to find a house right now. Yes, we've talked about the business, but every single time I'm following up with her, it's not always following up about the business. So make these relationships. The second way that I'm finding potentials is by doing business advertisements. This is kind of like a gray area. I never talk about doing business ads with my new distributors, but if you are a diamond and above and you are just kind of burnt out right now, you feel like I don't have anybody to talk to, consider running like $5 to $7 a day. And the ads, you know, Facebook's getting really peculiar of what they accept and what they deny. The posts that I'm seeing for me that are getting people to comment interested are the posts that say something about, do you want to become a stay-at-home mom? What would $500 to $2,000 a month, how would that change your life? And maternity pictures, any type of artsy pictures of you and your family. But maternity, for some reason, has been huge for me. Because people will actually tag their photographers and say, I like this pic. Could we do this? And so I'm actually still adding those people and say, hey, I saw you comment on my advertisement about my maternity pick. Are you interested in the business? So that's what's helped me. So finding people on Facebook by recruiting myself, and then actually having people say they're interested. I add them off my business page to my personal page. They're usually signing up months down the road after making that connection, after commenting, liking. It is not the initial contact where I'm sealing the deal. So I hope you guys hear me say that. This takes work. It takes relationship building.
And then I have something to add to that. And like to piggyback off what Susan said, this is where you guys need to come up with a way to let people not fall through the cracks, because these relationships are months and months. So the seeds you're planting, the relationships you're building, like Jocelyn and Susan said, I mean, if you're doing it now in June, you may not see this person sign up until October. I just signed up a girl who I've been talking to since February of 2016. So over a year, 2015. So over a year ago of me communicating with her. And if I hadn't have written her name down in my system that I do to keep up with names, she would have slipped through the cracks. So that's all I want to say about that.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to these other questions. These ones, so I'm going to kind of do both of these kind of together because I feel like they go hand in hand. This first one is from a diamond. My question would be for multiple people to get a better idea, but when enrolling, would you say majority is local or outside your market? I found that it's far easier to get loyal customers inside my market, even if they don't know me. However, I have a very large local market as well, and my fear is pulling from their sales because I tend to be a high loyal customer enroller and drying up the area. However, if most ambassadors started out local, that gives me a lot of hope. The first thing I have to say to you is the person that follows up last is the one that wins. So if you are doing your job and somebody wants to sign up with you, obviously don't steal people's potentials, but if you're doing your job and they show you interest and they want to sign with you, why would you not sign them, you know? If you're good at building a local market, that's what you want to do. I know there's a lot of people that do have big local teams. I have a big outside market, but I built on social media where I follow people all over the place. So if you're good local, then do what you're good at.
Well, and if you're on social media, like I love that when people say like an area is saturated or whatever. We live in a town. I've got a couple girls on here that we all live outside of a town of like 3,000 people. We went to high school there. But one of my triples on here, we actually live in a town that, we don't even have a population sign. It's that small. And there's 17 of us. So to say, like with social media, everybody has the same ability to get, I mean, if you've got the ability to grow local, that's amazing. And don't step back from that. But they all have the same opportunity as you as well. And like Jocelyn said, if you're the one that's following up, if you're the one that's doing the job, then that's just, how it's going to be. But don't worry about drying up the area. Like there's always going to be people. And the way I look at it is somebody that, me and Chelsea may both know somebody from our small town, but for whatever reason, they feel more connected with Chelsea or they feel more connected with me. And so, you may have that situation too with your local team that somebody just maybe they, don't want to sign up with you because they knew you in high school and they haven't talked to you since then or something, and they feel more comfortable with somebody else. So don't step back from that at all.
Okay, and I think Susan wanted to talk on this next question from a double. How do you blitz a random person in public without offending them?
So blitzing to me has never been like an activity ever. I look at blitzing as just making friends when I'm out. So I can actually blitz without a blitz card. I can actually blitz without wearing my shirt, even though I love wearing our gear. Blitzing can be any conversation, and I think it has a lot to do with listening. I'm a huge listener when I'm out. I listen for keywords. I listen to what the person is putting out there, whether it's like a waitress, the person in the Target counter, like talking to me. Listen for words they're saying, like stress, work, if they start talking about their job, if they start talking about their kids, if they start talking about being sick. Any keywords it's like it triggers my mind to somehow slide in the conversation. Oh, you know what? And it's like, I kind of act like it just occurred to me. I work for this business called It Works, and there's this amazing product called Greens. Have you ever heard of it? I actually was sick last week, and it completely got rid of my sinuses or whatever it is. Okay, so I'm listening for a way to slide in the conversation, to build that relationship, bring it up kind of nonchalantly. And what's really cool is they do not know they're being blitzed at all. I may be handing them a card with my info or adding them on Facebook, but that wall has already come down because they just have no idea that a sale is even going on. And this may seem really weird to you, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. And again, I know what I'm doing. Like at the very beginning of the conversation, I know exactly what I'm doing. Like if I'm sitting next to a girl at Chick-fil-A and our kids are talking, I'm going to engage in a conversation where she's going to bring up the fact either A, she's a work mom, a stay-at-home mom, if she lives near me. I'm going to just find out things about her so I can just slip in, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom too. I've been a stay-at-home mom for like a few years. I was working at St. Thomas, but then I found this amazing company that I do. Oh, really? What amazing company? Like they're going to start asking you questions and pull it out of you. Don't be so like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like a psychological thing, but I let them think that it's their idea when I'm in a blitzing conversation. Now that doesn't mean that there are going to be moments where I am in a hurry and I have my card and I see someone I really want. I'm going to have a little bit of bravery and say, hey, I saw you. I couldn't walk out of the store without handing you this card because it's changed my life. Like there are moments that you are going to be able to do that, but 99% of the time that's not how I blitz. I really like engaging and forming that relationship first. And I think adding on Facebook is one of the number one ways that I've been able to blitz someone, because maybe not necessarily they'll, want to be wrapped right on the spot or become a loyal customer right on the spot. But these people are being added to Facebook and they're the ones joining months later because they're following my journey. Carry wraps on you. I think that's also really huge. Michael showed me with blitzing when he was blitzing, when you actually hand them a wrap and they can actually touch it and feel it, it's just so different. They start asking more questions. They start being like, well, what's in it? How does it work? And be like, I can actually show you how it works right now. So carry product on you. But I have a YouTube video that kind of talks about the way I blitz if you're interested. I hope that helped. But again, blitzing to me is not running up to someone and throwing a card in their face. I think people get it all wrong. Make it fun and just think, I'm changing their life. Like, what is this going to do for them? Not what is this going to do for me? When it's about them, the way you engage is going to be completely different.
I have a little tip.
I do the same thing. I did this last time. I don't know what it is. I'll just pipe in. I do the same thing. I blitz. I have a child at the door. I just got home. I blitz the same way. So I don't have cards on me. I just make friends and I add them on Facebook. So I really just try to make genuine relationships. They may not even know anything about It Works. I just may strike up a conversation, be like, oh my gosh, I love your shoes. Where did you get those? And oh yeah, da, 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 that's cool. We're at the park. Yeah, how many kids do you have? Real, like, ask questions. I like to ask questions. And so how long have you lived here? Are you from here? Real basic stuff, intimidating things. And sorry, now I have another kid, but I told you I had 3 and they're crazy. I love them. It's summertime. I have them all the time. I'm gonna make it though. So anyways,
I just really love to build relationships. So if I take the kids to the park or the pool and I make friends, I'm like, oh, she's so cute. Like, you know, and if it works, comes out, it does. But most of the time, I'm like, you know, I loved connecting with you. I would love to run into you again somewhere in town. Do you have Facebook so we can just stay connected? And it's just like that, you know, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I gotta go. Hey, I would love to stay connected. If I run into you again, I want to know who you are. You know, like, do you have Facebook? And so that's a lot of times like how I blitz. I'll just add them on Facebook and I'll them for a year. I'll just let them soak. Like, I may not even message them and talk to them about the business. I'll just let them learn about my life and I'll let them read about it. I'm not in a like urgency, and I'm definitely one of those steps to success people. I'm not urgently trying to get them on, and so I don't look desperate. Like, they're going to want me. They want to do what I'm doing because it's so much fun. It's so attractive. They're so drawn into it that they're like, I want to have that fun. Like, I want to have that freedom. Like, I want to travel like she travels, you know, and it just draws them in. And so it's not even that you have to say it every moment of your posts. It's just that they get that you're living in a life that's very different from them, and they want that too. So I do what's just love to compliment people and look for ways to add them on my Facebook and make new friends. And if they don't ever join, it works fine. But like, maybe I'll sign them up as a rep, and it'll be the best moment ever because I've built a relationship. And when they say yes, they'll be committed. You know, they're going to be like, I'm in. Like, I'm committed to this girl, you know. And a lot of times, like, if you just sign someone random off Facebook, they don't have a commitment to you. And then no clue, you know. But like, when you build a relationship with someone, they're committed. When they say yes, it's a yes, and it's a real one, you know. So that's what I would
hear me? I'm not sure. I'm driving.
Yeah, you're good, Christy.
Okay, cool. So I went to this conference once, and I don't even remember her name, but this lady was talking about this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule, and it was just the biggest eye-opener. I'm not really agreeing, but when I hear something that's like statistics and sciencey, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try it. So this is what she explained, that our when we're nervous or when we're scared of something, our brains automatically go into this defense. So when you're talking, you don't know, typically we go into defense. But
drink.
taught this to
Do not drink my
What?
drink.
It's gone. I was giving it these eyes.
You can go to bed.
anyways, you can do it. This works for blitzing, it works for messaging people, it works for anything. So basically, you decide that even about where you just don't, it's so simple, it sounds so all of a sudden your brain you have defense of like, I'm scared. And I did this, and I messaged because I was like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, girl, I think it'd be amazing to do. You know, like, I just did it, and it works with blitzing because, you know, the longer you wait, the harder it gets, right? Like, the longer you wait to talk to somebody, and then all of a sudden you're home, and you're like, that could have been my next ambassador diamond, and I just, you know, screwed up. But if you just try this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with blitzing and messaging people, I promise you guys, you're gonna be like, I can't believe this actually worked. Like, it's so simple. But yeah, that's just kind of a tip I wanted to share with you guys because it works. Like, it just
Maybe we'll ask her again when we can hear her all the way. But going on to the next question, I'm going to touch base on 3 questions, and then we're going to go back, and there's a few, like, there's like probably 10 questions that are all almost the same, which is crazy. So this next one is from a presidential diamond. I understand self-development is so important, but I have a hard time diving into a book. Are there any other ways to do self-development other than a book or audiobook?
Okay, so I really wanted to talk about this because I think like as soon as we hear the word like self-development, we're like earmuffs. I don't want to do it. I don't have time for it. It doesn't sound sexy. It's not going to bring people into my business. And we just kind of, it's like, and I think that there are so many ways to do self-development outside of just reading a book or doing an audiobook. And so I was thinking about this because I knew that I was gonna like kick this one off, and I was thinking about all the different ways that I do self-development and just wrote them down. One of the things that I love is there are so many different apps out there that you can have on your phone. Sprinkle of Jesus, 99.9% of the time, Ashley. Every once in a while it throws out a random one, but it makes you laugh, so it's okay. Sprinkle of Jesus is a great app that I love that just starts my day off. It'll send me maybe like a mid-afternoon, just something that picks me up. Daily affirmations, whether you're writing them on your mirror, whether you have them on Post-it notes, and I'm a big Post-it note freak because it's cheap and easy. Putting them all over your office, your workspace, your car, your bathroom, your closet, wherever it is. Quotes, I have quotes all the time. So like when my brain is not in the right spot, I just pull one of these out. Music is another great thing for self-development. Self-development doesn't have to be professional development all the time. It's something that you're doing to pour into yourself. So maybe that's meditation, maybe it's prayer, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's going to the gym, maybe it's volunteering. What is your circle of influence? That's a huge factor of self-development, you guys, and Cami has talked about that a lot. Your circle of influence are 5 people that you spend the most time with, you know, and she'll ask you, you need to evaluate those 5 people because that hugely affects where your mind is. And your mind steers your business. It steers everything that you do. So are these people positive people? Are these people excited, and are they accelerated in life, not just in their business? Do they have a spiritual, do they have a spiritual energy about them? Are they religious? Do they have a faith, if that's something that's important to you? Do they make more money than you do? If you want to up your income, are the people that you're spending time with, do they have a broke mindset? That's bringing you down. Do they gossip? Do they live in the land of drama instead of the land of dreams? So evaluate the people that you're spending time with, because if you're supposed to be pouring into yourself and pouring into others, and you're surrounded by 5 other people that are like a vacuum sucking life out of you, you need to have a new circle of influence. Another thing that I do is I set reminders on my phone that go off at the same time every single day. Some of them are just very simple, like you are worthy of success. Another one is, am I adding value today? And that just causes me to slow down, to take a few breaths, to look at where I am, if I'm stressed out, if I'm scrolling Facebook, whatever it is, and kind of evaluate what I'm doing. Another thing that I really love are podcasts. Podcasts are something that you do have to listen to, but they're like 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. So you can listen to a bunch of podcasts at one time. If you're going to a one-to-one mission and you have a 2-hour drive, or you have a commute on your way to work, listen to a few podcasts that are really going to get your mind right. Anything from, Cami, of course, has one. One that I love and that a lot of my leaders love is Kim Touchton has an amazing podcast, and it relates directly to our business and has a lot of Christian influences. So I really love that. If you're like Stephen Furtick or Brene Brown or other, Oprah or whoever, those are other people that you can listen to that are just going to speak life into you. It doesn't have to always be stuff about it works. It can be a hobby. It can be, something that you do, and to help you become a better mom. And then when you're happier with where you are with your mom jobs, then you can bring that energy into your business. So I'm trying to think, your wallpaper on your phone, put I am Ambassador Diamond as your wallpaper on your phone, or put your favorite Bible passage or something, a picture of your family. So every time you get distracted or discouraged, you can see your family, and that becomes your why, not your excuse as to why you can't build this business. Those little things, and surrounding yourself with positive people that are accelerated in life, not just in it works, are going to keep that self-development thing going. So audiobooks are great, and of course I have a list of 40 different professional development books too, but I think that those little things that we do every single day that sometimes we don't even think about. The one other thing, self-development, that's really helpful that I always feel better after I do is acknowledging, like recognition for someone on your team. So look for someone on your team and write on their wall. And I'm also really old school in the sense that I actually like to write handwritten cards. 3 sentences. Hey, Jocelyn, I just wanted to let you know that I love your energy. I appreciate your leadership. I see how hard you're working. Your eyeliner is on fleek, winged perfectly, and I love you. Send them a note. You know, a stamp is pretty much all it's costing you, and it can make someone's day. Everyone loves old school mail. But when you do all of those little things, it's really hard to be in any other mindset other than positive. So those are the things, those are ideas that you can do, I guess, outside of just books and audiobooks.
I have something to add. You guys can hear me, right? Sorry, I'm always like asking. So 2 things. Everything she said is amazing. I think like when I've ever been in a funk, I'm like, okay, well, what am I focusing on? I'm like, I'm focusing on myself. That's my problem. And that's what I always have to tell my leaders or even anyone, and including myself. I'm like, well, who are you focusing on? Yourself. As soon as you start trying to, you know, give other people, like she said, the recognition or, you know, lift other people up, all of a sudden you guys are building each other up instead of, you know, you feeling down about yourself because you're in this bubble. So I think it's really, really important, like she said, to have good influences around you. Yes, of course, I'm not always up, but my team knows if they come to me, I'm going to be up for them. And then, you know, I go to my husband to help lift me up when I'm feeling down, you know? And I think that's huge. Just as far as like, you know, if your best friend in this business, and she might be your best friend, like you guys are like freaking this. And at one point or another, you guys were promoting together. And now every time you guys get together, you're just negative Nancy's together. You're gossiping. You're talking about, you know, this or that, or why you're not signing people or whatever. You need to take a couple months and find a new friend. You each need to find a new friend that's going to lift you back up, you know. But another thing too, I love YouTube videos. I'm not a huge reader. I literally listen to them all the time, like in the morning when I'm just getting ready, and they're like so awesome because my attention span is like this big. And so it jumps from like, you know, video to video on the same video. But also something I want to say too, like, do you guys think that Mark reads? Do you think that Pam reads? Do you think that 99% of the ambassadors read? Yeah. I know they do, because they have these book suggestions all the time. And, you know, I've purchased plenty of books and I've maybe finished one. But sometimes I'll just literally open it up and I'll read a page and I'm like, oh, mind blown. But I know you know this. You want to be in a spot of somebody else, do what they're doing. And if what they're doing is reading, you just need to suck it up, stay up an extra 20 minutes at night, or get up an extra early, 20 minutes and start your day like that. And I've heard Tony Robbins a few times in person, and literally it's what you put in your head right before you go to bed and what you put in your head right when you wake up. So if reading 5 to 10 minutes of a book and then your scriptures or whatever, that's something that you just need to suck it up and do it. Sometimes it's those things that are going to make us grow the most that we literally don't want to do. Like when I'm feeling down, do you think I'm like, I'm going to find the most motivational video ever right now? Like, I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to read nothing. I don't want somebody to tell me that I need to just suck it up and work harder. But as soon as you put that on, you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I needed. So, for whoever is feeling like that, maybe you just need to pick up that book, and that's what's going to change your life, because it's that one thing that you don't want to do. And isn't it always that one thing that we don't want to do, and then finally we do it and it changes everything? So pick up the book. Maybe it's going to be really good. That's all.
Okay, that was awesome. This next question is also from a presidential diamond. She says, I have 7 triples and above. Almost all of them have their own team pages and do their own trainings. There is no unity whatsoever. How can I create some unity on my team that is so split? I understand they are all great leaders because they are triples and above, but it makes me feel like I have failed as a leader.
Jamie, are you still on? Do you want to tag team this one? I know we called this one out.
Sure thing.
All right, you go first.
Okay, so you guys, first of all, take full advantage of your team having that layered leadership and, them stepping up. If they're stepping up and they're active on their team page and they're working with their team, let them own that and be there to support them. Hopefully they have you on their team page. Mackenzie, her team grew so fast, and she broke off from my team page like not even 6 months into her business. And it kind of left me like, oh my gosh, like, did I offend them? Did I do something wrong as a leader? Like, what did I do wrong? Like, I didn't know where to go from there. And then I stepped back and I'm like, no, this is a good thing. Like, she's taking leadership of her team. Her team is taking leadership of their team. It's that layered leadership, you guys. Let them own that and work with them on that. And, Mackenzie and Melissa, I know you guys and your teams have been really good at doing retreats and, things like that. We do quite a bit locally with our local team. We have a very large local team. So we do a lot with our leaders locally with planning meetings and, things like that. Do things like that to try to bring some of that unity back. Show some love, shout out love to people, whether they're on your team page or not. If you're looking through eSuite and you notice a Ruby under somebody who's not on your team page and they're enrolling the crap out of people, or their posts are bomb, give them a shout out, shoot them a message, drop a card in the mail. Like Melissa said, you guys, I've had teams fight over who gets cards in the mail from me. Like, they get offended sometimes when they don't get included in that, and that's kind of their light bulb moment to work more or work harder. So they get that recognition, but they love that recognition. And I think that's a huge thing with bringing your team back together. I don't know. I'm big on loving and, things like that. So I think that really brings people back together. I don't know.
I think that's I think that those are really good. I do think that we're better together. And I think as a leader, there's no blueprint, right? There's nobody telling us if A plus B equals C in most situations. And so we get nervous, like if we're stepping on someone's toes, or if we have different personalities. We talk all the time about personality colors, and I'm red, and maybe someone else is yellow. And so on that layered leadership thing is, why not come together? Maybe it's a Zoom like this. Jocelyn and April and Christy, they're not on my team. I mean, their work or my work have no impact on each other's paychecks, but we can utilize each other's strengths and come together and provide, an awesome Zoom for hundreds of people. And so maybe it's just something simple that you do periodically like that, and you combine your leadership. For me, my team grew very quickly. So ambassador in 2 years with tons and tons. That means a lot of people were promoting very quickly on my team. And so you have that fast growth. And then what happens is then some of that part of that leadership kicks in kind of after the fact, where almost like you grew so fast that you didn't learn some of those things along the way. And so I think, speaking like for my team, where we are now is that now we're encountering some things that maybe other people encountered earlier in their business, and we're just learning those things now. And so what better way to do it than to be unified as leaders? And so for us, we pumped our brakes a little bit and said, you know what? I thought that I knew everything, or I thought that I could do everything, but I can't provide all of the leadership that my team needs because I'm very green, so I have that aspect. But I would love someone that was good in these other ways. And then for us to all come together, right, and pretty much create like the perfect leader out of maybe 30 people, but for our team overall. And so don't be afraid, to ask for help. And don't be threatened by the idea that someone on your team looks up to someone that isn't you, because that's okay, because you can't be every leader and everything and everyone to everyone on your team. I saw Carla Burns post the other day, if you want everybody to like you, go sell ice cream. Right? Because everybody's happy when they hear the ice cream man coming, but leadership is hard, and it's okay, you guys. It's okay to feel like leadership is hard. but be open to other personalities helping to lead your team, and reach out to your team and say, you guys, Jamie, you're amazing at this. Jocelyn, you're amazing at this. Do you think that we could come together and do a training, do an online party, have a retreat for our team, whatever it is? Your team isn't going to complain. They're going to love it. They're going to love it to be able to be around so many more leaders. I mean, just the feedback and what you guys are talking about tonight, and being, so happy to be on this Zoom, that's how your team is going to feel. So don't be threatened by it. Don't think that it's too late to have it, and embrace it if you do have that strong leadership on your team too.
I'm going to add one more thing too. You guys, your team is going to connect with different people differently as well, different leadership styles. Melissa and I think, are both pretty red. So we may not have people connect to us like they may connect to Mama Deb, who is pretty yellow. So they might connect to, they will connect to different leaders in different ways. I'm very blunt on my team page if somebody comes to me complaining on something. And those of you who are on my team on here, you guys know this, that I'm very blunt. If you come to me and you tell me you're struggling, or, you don't know why you're not signing distributors, well, guess what? You're not asking them. And I know you're not. I'm very open in that aspect. I don't have a lot of that, I don't know. I just don't have a lot of that soft, cushiony filter, I guess you could say. So yeah, just remember, people are going to react and take in from different people in different ways. I might say something 8,000 times, and Melissa might turn around and say it one time, and they're like, oh my gosh, that makes total sense. And I'm like, hello, I just said that to you 8,000 times over the last 3 years, and you didn't get it. But they pick up on how people say things, and all that sort of thing. So it's nothing negative against you by any means. It's just the personalities that they click with. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. So this is kind of funny too. This question was asked twice. This is from Double Diamonds, and they basically are asking for the best advice to promote to triple and to win. Right now, they are only maintaining the rank of Ruby. So what advice do you have for somebody that was at one point maintaining double and now is maintaining Ruby to get back at that and go triple?
I have kind of a suggestion. I was just kind of game planning with someone who was in a similar situation. She was a diamond now, maintaining Ruby. And you just have to give them you just have to think about the long-term outlook of it. You're not in it for just triple, you're in it forever. So it's okay to take a step back and re-chart and get a new game plan together. You might have people on your chart with 100 volume in 50 places, but that is not going to happen. You can't do it all. I mean, I always look at my chart, and if I need 10 distributors, I say, okay, I need to sign all those 10 distributors. But for all that volume, all of that, everything, it's just not going to happen. I would honestly bust out a diamond chart, because you've gotten a double. You know how to sign people. There's a reason you got to double in the first place. I would pull out a diamond chart and maybe talk with your upline or whoever, and, kind of game plan with them. But what I do, and what has worked so well for me, is I like to just go to the people that I know are still, here and working, and say, listen, I'm going to go triple, and I want you to be part of, my chart for triple. And I want to know if you're ready to revamp and rerun with me and, hit your next promotion. And if you're not ready, that's okay. Don't worry. I will work with somebody else. We can go at your pace. That's fine, but I'm ready to run again. And so if you're ready to run again too, and you can give me that commitment, then I'm going to help you, and we're going to work with each other, and, we're going to talk every day, and we're going to do this together. And I've had somebody it was mind blowing. She said, no, she's like, no, I'm just not ready to, commit. And I was like, okay. And if you can get yes or no, and some people will say yes and it means no, their work will show. But I tell them, listen,
this is my business just as much as it's your business. So let's talk every day, and you know, I will change it and work with somebody else if you're not, you know, communicating with me. I know not everybody signs right away, but we need to at least be communicating, and just pull out a new fresh diamond chart with people who are here and want it and working, and you're gonna feel so good, because right now you have your double chart, you have your triple chart, and you're just spinning your wheels. And it's almost like that fear of like, oh, I have 2 people working, and what if they both quit? Then I'm screwed. Just pull out a new diamond chart and just literally be like, okay, let's do this. I'm gonna go diamond, because diamond is, you know, it's the step right before double and then right before triple. And then you're gonna have new people to work with, and you're gonna feel better. Like, do you guys ever have someone new where you might be feeling down, but then you find someone that's just ready to rock, and all of a sudden you feel ready to rock again? You're like, yeah, you're excited, I'm excited. If you just go and sign a few of those people, those could be your emerald and ruby for your chart, and you're gonna feel really good about it. So just pull out a new chart and just get going again. And that's where you're gonna have the actual residual income. And that's why I said to think about it long term. Are those people gonna be there long term? You could get to double and triple with them, but are they gonna be there the next month? No. So it's okay to kind of just revamp and think about, okay, ambassador. In the future, you're going to be going for ambassador. That's what you're really going to want to be focusing on in the future. So look at that chart and be like, all right, let's do this if you want in. And you might have a fresh new chart. You might have 0 people there. That's okay. You're going to find a few new people, and they're going to be excited, and then you're going to be excited. So and don't be scared of that too. Jocelyn, was this part of the question of going back to work? No, you're fine.
Sure. I mean, one of them says, like, what steps can you take to fix it? So yeah.
Okay, so I just want to add to this. Actually, I'll just wait till you ask the question. I think it was a different question.
Okay. All of them, the next ones kind of all relate to that, so it'll be good.
Okay.
All right. So all of these next questions, there's like, I swear, 10 of them. Some of them are about like increasing volume to so you're not struggling to maintain. One of them is, what do you do when your team lacks momentum and motivation? How do you stabilize legs that feel like they're crumbling? What do you do when you feel like you're the only one working? How do you motivate your team? How do you get your team to do the steps to success? How do you move forward when it feels like everyone's dropping off? So these are all like really correlated together. So I kind of butched them all in the same question.
Okay, I want to start. So I had an awesome talk with Pam Souter today. And I think, man, when you're saying those things to me, those questions, I was like, oh, that's like so negative, you know, because every single time you're even thinking like that, honestly, you guys, like, our business truly is a mind game. Like, it truly is a mind game, especially if you're doing the work and you're not seeing the results in your check. Like, everything truly starts in your mind. And if you knew how powerful your thoughts are, just while you're speaking, like, if you ask this question, you have something in your subconscious mind that is blocking you. Like, you're saying, well, why is my business failing? Or why are people working? Like, you're in your head, like, with some kind of thought or a negative thought, like, I can't sign anybody, or maybe I'm not worth this. Like, if you don't feel like you're worth this business, then it's going to show. It truly does show, you guys. Like, and so Pam really kicked me in the butt today, and my thoughts even, and just making sure that I'm, you know, thinking the right things. And so that's why I'm truly going to focus on self-development, because this is like, I reaffirm this over and over again today. I'm like, you know what? This is a self-development attached with a compensation plan. And so I would personally say to every single person who wrote a question like that, number one, you have to get it back in your, like, get your mind right. Because until your mind's right, you won't be attracting the distributors that you want. And like Pam told me today, she was like,
Carrie, like you sign rock stars, like you sign those people and they just fill out their steps to success by themselves and you barely have to do any work. I mean, like she's speaking this over me, but she's like, that's the kind of thoughts that you want to be thinking every day. Like, man, I'm bringing in people that don't even need any help from me. Like, I'm just signing those people that just get it. Like, and so, it really starts in your mind, and then start speaking and maybe writing, what kind of distributors do you want to attract? And then make sure, because I think once you get your mind right, you'll start attracting people into your business. And if you have that negative mentality, nobody's going to want to sign with you. Nobody wants to sign with you because they don't want your energy. So when you raise your energy level, people want what you have and they will come to you. Like they truly will come to you because you'll be in such a great place, but you got to get in that place in your head first. And then it just slowly develops into your business. But that's what I would tell you guys. You got to get your mind right. And then I love what Pam Sauter, I love Pam Sauter, obviously. But she says, new blood is the answer to every new blood is the answer to every prayer. You want more volume? Bring in new blood. You want, your team to be motivated? Bring in new blood. You want this? Bring in new blood. I mean, if you want to promote, bring in new blood. Because you know what happens? You get new blood comes in, like Christy said, and they're excited. You're pumped up. They sign some loyals. What's that? That's a new volume, And so new blood should be your focus. I mean, literally, I do the 80-20. I'm like, okay, I need to recruit 80% and then 20% back into my team and doing everything else, because 80%, when I'm bringing in those new people, they're going to start doing it just does it. So like 80% should be new blood.
What's funny is I actually was able to have a coaching call with Pam today too, which was so awesome. So I know you probably loved it just as much as I did. But one of the things that she mentioned with me is that your thoughts are your advertisement that you are putting on social media. So if you have these negative thoughts in your head, like my team is not working, nobody's staying in my business, nobody's signing up customers, that's what you're telling your potential subconsciously. And I don't know about you, but when I hear that, I don't want to join your team. So, Pam told me, she's like, you know what, write your own advertisements. So she was like telling me my advertisement, and I used this in a post today, and I've already got 2 new potential distributors from it. Isn't that crazy? And so she's like, you know what, Jocelyn, this is your advertisement. She's like, Jocelyn, say this. I'm 23 years old. I'm married to a gorgeous man. We are buying a gorgeous home, and I'm building a $111,000 team. Who wants to join me? Put it out there. Put out what you want right out there. Telling people what you're going to do. And so that's something that I put on my goals. And she shared this really cool story about this artist that makes these beautiful paintings. Carrie's smiling like she probably heard this too today. No, you didn't? Oh, cool. Anyway, so she told me the story about this artist who makes just these beautiful paintings. He spends all week making these big, beautiful canvases. And then every weekend he goes to these like shows where he can show everybody his work. And he goes to this first show and he has these thoughts in his mind, like, I'm so nervous. Like, I don't know if these people are going to want my paintings. Like, are they good enough? Are they going to want to hang them on their wall? I don't think they want it. Nobody's going to buy anything. They're just going to walk in and look and turn right around. And that's exactly what happened. And so this artist went and he started getting coaching. And, the guy that coached him said, you know what, the reason why you're not selling any paintings is because that's what you're advertising with your mind. And so the next weekend, he goes into this marketplace to sell these paintings. And he's like, you know what, everybody wants my painting so much. They would feel honored to have this painting hanging on their wall. And you know what, they want it so much that I'm going to raise my prices. And he does. He raises his prices. And that same weekend, just from changing his mind, he sold all of his paintings, all of them, just because he changed the advertisement that was going on in his mind. And so if you feel like your team's not working, if you feel like they're not motivated or they're not doing their steps to success, guess what? They're not the problem. It's you. If you get your mind right and you be the person you want on your team, they will come. There is a scripture that talks about virtue cleaveth unto virtue, light cleaveth unto light. If you become the person you want on your team, you will attract more and more and more of that.
Can I add one thing to this? I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm sorry. So I struggle a lot, and I have since I started 5 years ago, you guys. I am a big time introvert, and I struggle a lot with belief in myself. And I have since day one. I still do today. And if you are that person where you struggle with believing in yourself and reaching your goals, you don't feel worthy, you know, I've felt that way literally at every rank jump in this business. And presidential to ambassador was a big light bulb moment for me, you guys. I didn't believe in myself, and you have to find people that believe in you. Find those sideline sisters. Find your upline, your downline, your spouse, your best friend who might not be in this business. Find somebody, your mom. My dad is my biggest cheerleader besides my husband. And they pushed me and believed in me. And finally, I grabbed onto some of their belief in me, and I decided that I was going to go ambassador. And I did it. You have to have that belief in yourself, you guys. You have to have that belief in your team. And again, if you don't have it, you need to borrow it from someone else until you have your own, because it will drain you, and it will pull you so much farther from your goal. And you have to have that belief. I'm huge on that. So borrow that belief from somebody else. Find anybody. Message me if you need somebody to believe in you. I'm here. I will believe in you tenfold. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Okay, this has run a little long, an hour and a half, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of wrap it up really quickly. You know, especially, I feel like one of the biggest things I really want to reiterate is that if you get into those negative mindsets, you need to plug into things like this or getting to an event, because those things, I don't know what it is about them, or talking to somebody that's where you want to be, that's going to pump you up and motivate you and make you realize what's going on in your mind more than anything. And one thing that Pam Souter, another suggestion from her that really has been so helpful for me, and I know other ambassadors have done this as well, is Pam gave us two things to do. One of them was take a notebook with you everywhere you go for 48 to 72 hours and write down all of your thoughts. Because once you know what you're thinking in your mind, then you're going to look back and you're going to have this aha moment in your mind, and you're going to be like, well, no shit, Sherlock, no wonder my business is where it's at, because my mind is not right. And when you know your mind's not right, that's when you can go and focus on fixing it. And then the other thing that she did as that really was helpful was she said, record a video of yourself and ask yourself what's been holding you back, and just start talking. And eventually you'll answer your own question, and you'll get to the point where you'll know exactly what you need to do to get over whatever obstacle in your mind that's been holding you back. And so thank you guys so much for hopping on this Diamond and Above Zoom. You are an incredible leader. You are so worthy, and you deserve to be here so much. We know that you have the potential to go ambassador this year, because you are such a hard worker. You are a mass distributor and loyal customer rolling machine, and your team is going to follow in your footsteps. We love you guys so much, and we hope you have an amazing night.